Hello, welcome to episode 27 of the Talkin Rangers podcast. Today is Thursday, April 4th. We are fresh off of a crazy night last night at Madison Square Garden as we saw a line brawl to open up the game. 5 fights. There was a total of 6. Will Cooley ended up getting into it a couple minutes later. Crazy game, crazy atmosphere. Rangers, out of all the chaos, they were able to come out of there with a win, which is, of course, most important. They get to 51 wins on the season, 106 points, and they sweep the New Jersey Devils 4-0 on the season, which is obviously something that you always like to see against the Hudson River rivalry. Joe, a lot to discuss today. How's it going, man?
It's going good. I mean, we're getting to the end. First episode in April, so we got 16 days to the playoffs. So
yeah,
a little over 2 weeks. So should be hopefully a good end to the season. Hopefully nothing crazy happens. But I mean, that didn't match what happened yesterday, though. I mean, yesterday was just a little crazy.
Yeah. Yesterday was it was crazy. I think I was probably crazy might be an understatement. But you're right. First episode of April, so that's always good. And it's, weather's getting warmer, although the rain this week was terrible. But weather's getting warmer, which means hockey playoffs around the corner. Hopefully, this is a deep run into June that, of course, ends up in a Stanley Cup. 6 games left, 4 at home, 2 on the road. Final 2 road games will be Friday against Detroit and then Tuesday against the Islanders. And then after that, obviously, they got Montreal home, Philly, the Islanders, and Ottawa to close out the year. So lots of home games here down the stretch, which is, of course, we knew that because early in the season they played a whole lot of road games. But we got to start with last night's game because that was crazy. Of course, you go back a little bit more a while back. What was it? 2012, I think it was the brawl between the Devils and the Rangers.
I'm trying to think.
And what was that?
I'm trying to think who was in that. I think it was like Jody Shelley. Maybe Rupp was in that.
Yeah, I think so because they interviewed him last night.
Like
I believe he
Joseph. I think Josephson. I don't know, but I do remember actually. I remember watching that game.
And then, so you had that line brawl actually between the Rangers and the Devils, and then more recently you had the line brawl between the Capitals and the Rangers, which was after the whole Tom Wilson situation where he basically, ragdolled Panarin and all that stuff. So
Tom Wilson.
Pretty much that incident, which is interesting because Lavalette at the time was actually was the Capitals coach, and now here he is, Rangers coach, of course, behind the bench. 2 coaches were going at it as well, which was crazy. I thought they should have let him on ice, and they should have
dropped the gloves. That would have been sad.
That would have been awesome.
That would have been so funny if they dropped the gloves.
They should have just ended the game right there. If that happened,
Lavalette,
people already got their money's worth. That would have been crazy. So, so total 166 penalty minutes combined between the 2 teams. Of course, there was a total of 6 fights, 5 right off the opening faceoff, and then a total of 8 ejections. It was the 8 players in the other 4 fights. Technically, the VZ fight was first initiated, so the other 4 fights got ejected. VZ and them didn't because they obviously were the first ones to actually make contact and start fighting. So Fishbowl VZ was in the action as well, though he didn't have the fishbowl on. But what was your reaction to this? This was crazy. We knew the hype. Rempe, McDermott was active. Rempe was back in the lineup. You knew once you saw the lineup cards submitted that it was, for the Rangers, obviously you see these 2 teams go out there and play their 4th lines. You knew that is not something normal. You knew something was going to happen. I didn't think a full line brawl was going to happen. You knew that Rempe was going to fight, right? They were right away. They were already talking to each other. And before the face-off even, they kind of stood up and looked at each other. But were you expecting a full-on line brawl like that?
No. I was expecting, obviously, Rempe to fight McDermott. But, I did not expect maybe like a line brawl, but 5 guys fighting each other was insane. And I thought they could have done a better job of kind of showing all of it. I feel like TNT was kind of just locked in on the Rempe and McDermott, but have you seen the other videos of Miller just being
Miller was a monster.
Miller was just going to town on him.
And then did you see the photo when he was on the ground? Miller was about to go in for another punch.
No, then he was too small. He did
really?
too small thing. Yeah. Dude, he beat the crap out of him.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Marino.
I didn't.
You know, like I feel like some of these guys get a little screwed. Like I think like they were and going back to that the Capitals fight. I think somebody was on the ice that never fought. Maybe it was Gaudreau. Someone beat the crap out of him. Maybe I think it was Hagelin. I think someone beat the crap out of Hagelin. But like, yeah, I feel bad for the guys who, in those situations where they're not really fighters. They have to fight and then just get the crap beat out of them. But I mean, it was cool to kind of. I mean, I feel like everybody was kind of talking about it across like all the sports world, and obviously no one got hurt, so it was good. And then I thought I was stunned when I found out that all four of them, or all eight, I guess, got thrown out.
Yeah.
But no, it was an experience. I mean, the Garden was definitely loving it.
Yeah, it's how can you not be romantic about hockey, I guess is the best way to put it. PK Subban said it today on ESPN. It's good for the game. Like this type of stuff, people that are, I guess, your casual hockey fans, they will watch. I mean, I know a lot of people that are kind of just casual hockey fans. They just watch to hope to see somebody fight. And when you see 5 fights like this, it's going to catch the eye of not only hockey fans, but it really last night and into this morning, it's kind of taken over the sports world. It's on the back page of the New York Post. ESPN, one of their lead headlines today was the fight. It's everywhere. I think CBS Sports as well had it. Fox, I think, had it as well. So it was kind of the top headline today, which is, of course, good for hockey. It's going to draw an audience. And obviously, look, Devils, Rangers, inside MSG, big market there, rivalry to begin with will obviously, of course, add some fuel to the fire there. But yeah, it was funny because I don't think they were not ready to fight. Like Rempe, McDermott were, but Miller said it today. He wasn't really ready. And then he kind of just approached him. He's like, all right, let's do it. The VZ fight ended, I think, before Rempe McDermott even started punching.
I think all of them ended. I feel like I think all of them ended, and then McDermott and Rempe went at each other. But I mean that's crazy. I vividly knew that was a rule, but kind of didn't really remember that. Because you don't really see that a lot. I feel like there's not many like multiple fights that break out. It's usually one or like we said back in 2020 and or that was in 2021 or in 2012 where they do it like simultaneously. So I guess but I wonder if they knew that. You think they knew that if you fight after, because like that's not really a rule that like you really have to think about ever. You think any of the players knew of that rule when they did that?
I don't think Rempe spoke to the media today. His interview was actually pretty funny. He said he didn't know. Like he said when they were in the penalty box, because the penalty box were hilarious. They were just loaded with guys.
Yeah.
He was talking about how it's like they were just gonna chill in there and have a good time. He didn't know. I think he said he didn't know that they all got ejected. Like the first, if you didn't fight initially, the only one that obviously didn't get ejected was VZ. I don't think he knew that. I think Miller might have said something too that he didn't know. I don't think they actually knew. A couple of the players, coaches probably knew, but I mean, there's no stopping it at that point. Once everybody's dropping the gloves, there's no going back. But I'll be honest, I was surprised. I mean, like you mentioned, you never really have to think about it because it's like, when are you ever going to really see 5 fights happening at the same time like that? So
I wonder if this ever happened.
Where a line brawl or
right off the face off, 5 guys drop gloves. Because I know back in the old days they would have like the benches would clear and they would fight.
Yeah, the benches would clear. Yeah,
but I don't know if they've ever had an opening face off 5 guys fight. I don't think it's ever happened.
Yeah. What's funny is they interviewed Stan Fischler, I think, last night, and he mentioned that how they would have the benches clearing.
Was that old guy that they were interviewing? I was like vaguely.
He's like he's been around forever. He's 92 years old. He's the writer. He's been writing forever.
Who was trying to rizz up the reporter?
Who is that? Jackie Redmond, I think.
I have no idea, but I don't believe that's ever happened.
What, like what we saw last night?
Line brawl, 5 guys all at once. I don't think it's ever happened.
No. Yeah, it's something you don't see very often. Something I was expecting. I mean, McDermott's just a designated chase Rempe around. And remember last game they played, he was just chasing Rempe around the entire time.
I mean, that's what his job is. Yeah, without Rempe, he's got no career.
Yeah,
Rempe, make McDermott great again, I guess.
Yeah. I actually kind of like some of Rempe's comments. Rempe took the high road because McDermott, after last game when he threw the elbow, he mentioned how he lost respect for him and all that stuff. But Rempe actually kind of went back and I guess took the high road and talked about, he respects a guy like that. He was actually kind of surprised with how strong he said. Rempe said that McDermott was the strongest guy he's faced so far. So I guess he's even stronger and tougher than what Reeves was. He said, yeah, what were you gonna say?
Did you see what Smith said?
I saw some of his comments. Which one specifically?
The one where he was like, "Oh, like he's gonna be like Rafa Torres." Do you know who Rafa Torres is?
I've heard of him, but
he's one of he's literally the dirtiest player of all time. Like he would literally skate across the ice and purposely elbow people. That's just like an absurd take, I think, by Smith, because like the kid's been in the league for like a little over 2 months, and he's not a dirty player. Like that's just because he hits hard doesn't make him dirty. Like, yeah, you know what? Even the the Bastion hit was fine. That wasn't dirty at all. The Siegenthaler hit, yeah, obviously he elbows him, but like I don't think there was
he's also
intent.
He's also a giant too.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think there was like horrible intent on that.
Yeah, no.
And comparing him to some guy who literally went out of his way to like injure people is crazy.
I mean the Brandon Smith's I don't know. He's
Rangers legend though. Rangers legend.
He is Rangers legend. I mean, he was in the other line brawl, the Capitals.
No, he wasn't in it, but he was the one who actually ended up having to fight.
I thought he was.
No, he had to fight Wilson. He was the one who fought Wilson though.
Yeah, Brandon Smith.
Yeah,
I know Devils fans aren't very big fans of him. He's had a pretty poor year.
He is
what he is. He's a goon.
He did have a big goal in the playoffs against us though in 2022. I think in game like 2 against the or it was either game 2 or game 5 of the Hurricane series. I think he had a big goal, but that's besides that.
Yeah, like the whole Rempe stuff. I guess I kind of understand it from an opposing fan's perspective. If 2 of your players would get elbowed in games like in back-to-back games, really.
Well, he didn't.
I don't think there's intent.
He didn't elbow Bastion.
What do you say?
He didn't elbow Bastion. He just hit him, and Bastion was smaller than him, so it made contact with the head. Which I don't think this has nothing to do with him being dirty. It's just big, and you can argue though. You can argue the Siegenthaler. He kind of stuck his elbow out, but I don't think, like I said, I don't think there was any like bad intent. I don't think he was trying to elbow him in the head. It's more of he's a big guy and has to learn how to hit and control his body. But I don't think he's a dirty player at all, though. I think he's a physical player, but not dirty.
No, yeah, I totally agree. He's 21 years old. He's 6'7". He's learning. He hasn't have a whole lot of experience under his belt. And I think too, what makes him not dirty either is, like you mentioned, it's not like he's going out of way to hit these guys. He's trying to learn. He's trying. He's ultimately
sometimes though I feel like not going. Yeah,
he tries. But it's not like
he's trying to hit him, but he's not.
Yeah, he's trying to hit. It's not a dirty hit though.
Yeah, no, it's a clean hit.
Yeah, it's one thing to go out of your way and try to hit somebody. It's another thing to go out of your way and try to hit him dirty. I don't think he does that. Like we were talking about this off air with him. People in the corners now they get all scared and they run away or skate away.
That's a good deterrent to have.
Yeah.
Especially in the playoffs, if you can grind down that team's defensive core, get them a little skittish, get them scared, turn the puck over. That's like the prime place to turn the puck over for creating turnovers. Just if you get a good defenseman to turn it over behind the net.
Yeah.
One, you have a guy behind the net, so he's out of the play, and then 2, the puck's going to come somewhat near the middle of the net, so it could be beneficial.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something that the Rangers of course lacked last year was that physicality during the playoffs and especially in the corners and stuff up against the boards. We talked about this, I think, in the last episode. But like he's talked about it. Even Lavalette said, like, even at practice, he's trying to learn. He's trying to become more than just, a guy that fights and more than just a guy that lays big hits. He's trying to become a good, productive fourth line guy for this team that can potentially play in the playoffs. So he's open and willing to. It's not like the only thing on his mind is, I just got to fight people. I don't care if I get game misconducts and suspended. I just want to fight people. I just want to hit people. He's shown the willingness to also become a better hockey player from a skill standpoint. So that too, I think, kind of takes away the whole dirty mindset. He's just out there for blood and nothing else. So 21 years old. He's played 14 games in the NHL. He's 6'7". He's learning. This is last night was expected. We knew it was going to happen. He is a goon, but I don't think he's. The Rafi Torres. It's Brendan Smith. Are you completely surprised? I guess Brendan Smith's.
Just trying to make a headline, but
yeah. Yeah, so he said this. He said, this was Rempe on getting tossed. He said, I thought I was going to have a good 5 minutes in the penalty box with the fellas. We were going to be cuddled up in there, getting cozy and having a good time. I had no idea that was a rule. I was like, dang it, my time on ice didn't go up that game. So he had no clue.
Yeah, he's played like you see the graphic on like ESPN or whatever. He's played like 3 games, been thrown out all 3 times, and he's played like 5 minutes in 3 games against the Devils.
Yeah, and somehow he's already hated. He's already made a bigger impact than probably a couple Rangers that have played in the rival.
But you know what though? Also though, for the Devils is they can't really talk because again, one of the most dirty players of all times was also a Devil, which was Scott Stevens, who literally headhunted. If you want to look up dirtiest hits of all time, most of those hits are going to be Scott Stevens. So
yeah. The Devils fans are just they lost. They're out of the playoffs.
They're out of the playoffs. They're
going to give you the typical, oh, we beat you last year in the playoffs.
We won one more game than you in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to give you all that typical stuff to the nonsense. It's the typical fan frustration. We just got swept. All of that nonsense. It's what every fan base does. I wouldn't be surprised if there would be Rangers fans doing it right now if we beat them last year in the playoffs. It's just like a lot of Yankee fans. They always go back on, oh, we have 27 World Series championships, all that. Even though they don't talk about that doesn't matter. But you get what I'm saying. The Devils fans, it's the same, oh, we beat you last year, all that. What the Rangers have to do is, the way the Rangers had to do that last night was shut them up by rallying around their coach, rallying around the guys that got ejected, picking up a win. And now it's about going to the playoffs and going deep, and you'll shut everybody up. That's ultimately what it comes down to, especially for Rempe as well. If he plays in the playoffs and is productive, he'll shut everybody up as being a dirty player and a guy that's just kind of a headhunter. So that's what, it's ultimately a prove it mode for them. So yeah, crazy night, crazy. The game itself, the Rangers had a 2-0 lead. Devils came back, dominated the second period, scored 3 goals. Rangers ended up coming back, scoring 2 in the third. Kakko and Kreider on the power play, got the job done. What was your thoughts from the actual game itself?
It was a good first period, obviously. They played well. They got some good chances to score, get 2 goals, get the goal by Panarin, to get the goal by Lafreniere. Good first period. I think they kind of did well defensively, limiting chances. But then, you're going to have bad games. But, I don't want to panic at all. But I feel like there's last couple of games defensively, I feel like has been great. Penguins wasn't a great game. This wasn't a great game. The Flyers game wasn't a great game. The Coyotes game wasn't a great game. So a couple, granted they won 3 out of those 4 games, but we'd like to see them play a little bit better defensively, obviously. But again, the second period was bad. Some bad turnovers.
Yeah.
Can't blame Trouba though. I know people have been really giving it to Trouba since his return. He didn't play, so you can't really blame him. They got to really lock down, I think, defensively. And you know what, Igor, I haven't seen anybody say anything bad about him, but you can't blame him. I feel like he hasn't really given up any really bad goals since that Florida game. That the third period was kind of a killer, where it was a soft goal. But you had the snipe, Palat, probably should have saved that one. But the other 2 ones were backdoor goals. Nothing you can do. 2 giveaways. The one, forgot which one it was. It was in the second or third goal. Kreider literally passed it to Brad.
Yeah.
It was like a breakaway pass almost.
Yeah.
And so obviously they need to. I have confidence though. I'm not too concerned, but they need to, bear down a little bit more defensively. I don't think in the playoffs they're going to be able to open up, which is a good thing, and it's also a good thing where you can play bad and still come back and win. But they just got to make sure to play better defensively. And at the end of the day, this team, has the same kind of motto: no quit New York. They come back. I would like to see them play with some leads and hold on to those leads and kind of build on them. Kind of
they've blown a lot this year.
Yeah, kind of let's start blowing some teams out. Get some confidence going. Don't go up by 3 and then get the team back in, or go down 1 or 2 goals and have to come all the way back. But you can kind of look at it both ways, where it's positive, where you can go down and they'll come back, just the fact that they're never out of it, I guess. But I would like to see better defensively. kind of got a quick guy I want to kind of shout out. I thought actually had a really good game was Kakko. I thought he was really effective on the boards. Obviously, I wouldn't say he created that turnover. I mean, his stick just snapped, but I mean, he did a good job. Kept skating, kept moving his feet, and then ripped one over the goaltender's shoulder. So I just wanted to give him a shout out. I thought he played really well. Like, what were your thoughts on the game yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, an unassisted snipe was good to see. It was a nice shot. I mean, it really kind of tilted the game back into our favor for a while there. They were flat the entire second period, flat to start the third a little bit. Of course, I know the stick and stuff, but got the turnover, unassisted snipe. It was good to see. I'm always happy to see Kakko play well.
I'm a big Kakko stan.
Yeah, his goal celebrations too. Or
any day when Kakko scores, it's a good day.
Yeah, I agree. Kakko, Lafreniere. I mean, Lafreniere scored first. Anytime they could score in the same game, 2 big goals, right? Lafreniere made it 2-0, although it didn't really mean a whole lot in the end. But anytime you see those two guys score, if you're not happy, then I don't know what to tell you, right? Kakko, it's funny when he scores. Kakko. I know we've talked about this before.
He either gets like super like. I feel like he actually hasn't really got super happy in a while.
Nah, he looks sometimes confused. He's like,
most of them he's just like standing there, like waiting for like someone to bump his hand, or he pulls his mouth guard out and he looks a little like upset.
Yeah, it's like I think he's like a sigh of relief every time he's
like finally, yeah.
Which I feel bad because it's like he doesn't celebrate the goals. Yeah, it's like when he scores, it's like, now I gotta go score.
I'm telling you, I think we've mentioned this before. The only goal I really remember really celebrating was his first goal in his career.
Yeah,
I remember
he was so happy.
He was really happy.
Wasn't he like jumping up and down too?
Yeah, he was like he did like a double like fist bump. Yeah. Here's a question I have for you. Kind of, and obviously it's about Kakko. What do you think he would be doing with Panarin and Trocheck? You think he'd be around what Lafreniere is doing? Just because of ice time and the confidence, I think is a huge thing for him. And I think he'd be getting more chances, getting more playing time, being more confident. Like, is there a chance? Yeah. Like, here's a question for you. I mean, I don't want to look too far ahead. I think they're kind of set this season on the Roslovic being on that line with Mika and Kreider, but like kind of going to next year, if Perot doesn't make the team, what would your thoughts be on putting Kakko there and then putting Lafreniere with Kreider and Mika? Like, and just kind of going back to my first question is, do you think that he would kind of be able to put up around the same numbers as Lafreniere?
So move Lafreniere up to the first line and then Kakko in the second.
That's like more for like next year. But I was just saying like maybe they could do that. But as far as like this year, just in the general sense, like, do you think that he would be able to produce around what Lafreniere is doing on that first line or the second line with Panarin and Trocheck?
Yeah, I mean he's been much better recently. I mean, he's been really a point per game player the last 5 games. He's had 3 goals the last 5. He's had 7 over the last 10. 7 points over the last 10. Yeah, I don't know. I just think he would be obviously have a lot. He'd be a lot better production wise. He's also, of course, now you look at the third line. He doesn't have Hedl either, which certainly stings a little bit. If they had Hedl on the third line, he'd probably even have more. But I don't know. I just think. Yeah, I just think Lafreniere is. I think Lafreniere is better. I just think he's a little bit better player, better offensively. Personally, I think Kakko to me, he is what he is. Like I've said that a lot. I think he's kind of just what he is now. Lafreniere, I think his ceiling is still so much higher. I don't think Kakko's ceiling is as high as Lafreniere. So I think his numbers would be better, but I don't know.
You think
Lafreniere, where he's almost a point per game guy.
You think he's going to get 60?
Who, Lafreniere? Yeah, I think so. He should. I mean, 6 points the next 6 games? Yeah, I think
he needs a point per game.
Yeah, I think he could have like a 2-goal game and then a couple assists. Yeah, I think he could.
What about Panarin?
He's got some opportunities coming up for him.
You think Panarin can get 13 points in the last 6 games?
Well, what he had?
I think that would tie, right? I think Yager 123.
Yeah, it was either 123 or 124.
I think it's 120. I think it's 123.
So yeah, you need 13. What do you have? He had what? He had 2 last night, right?
Yeah, I think it's up to 110.
He's up to 110. 13 over the next 6. I mean, why not? I mean, I mean, he's had what, 2 hat tricks this year? 3 hat tricks? How many hat tricks?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm.
It's not crazy to see. I mean, their schedule is favorable here. Like they've got a very favorable schedule. They've got Detroit, who is definitely beatable. They've handled them pretty well this year. Then they've got Montreal, and then they've got Philly still. They've got Ottawa, and they got the Islanders. You really could look at it technically on paper right now. They only have one playoff team left because technically Detroit and New York are on the outside looking in. Of course, Montreal and Ottawa are done. So yeah, I could see it. I mean, if there was a stretch to do it, it'd be here. Like if there was teams to do it, 13 points would be now. It'd be the Flyers.
Oh, the Flyers.
Yeah, but even then, I mean,
but yeah, the last game they played the Flyers was 6 goals. So
yeah, it was crazy. How many did Panarin put up in that game against the Flyers?
They gave 3. They gave 3 assists.
Yes, he did have 3 assists. Lafreniere 2. So there you have it. Lafreniere will have his 2-goal game against the Flyers. Panarin will have like 3 points. He'll have like a goal and 2 assists. And then how's Panarin getting the next 10? You think he hits 123?
Maybe. It's close. I think he's gonna come. I think he's gonna have 120. I think he'll get 10 in the last 6
Yeah,
games.
he should get 10. He'll have like he has at least like one more multi-goal game left. Mm-hmm. And he'll obviously have a couple assists. So he probably has at least 1 or 2 more 3-point games left.
Yeah.
He'll at least get to above. He'll at least get a point. He'll at least get over 116. He'll definitely get a point per game over the next 6. I mean, he's been a point per game guy for. When's the last time he didn't have a point? It was March 19th. Yeah, it was Winnipeg. March 19th was the last time he didn't have a point. So
I also think going back to what's his face? Lafreniere. I saw something or somewhere where last 22 games he's got 22 points. Or 22 games, he's got 23 points. He's over a point a game the last 22 games.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's just my thing with that's just my thing with Kakko and Lafreniere is like I like Kakko, we were just talking about it, but I just think Lafreniere is more offensive upside. He's just better offensively than Kakko is. I think Kakko is kind of what he is, like I mentioned. So that's my standpoint. You think if Kakko took over that role, like you'd see an uptick near Lafreniere, or you think he would?
He'd put around the same numbers. I think he would. He would. That's nothing against Lafreniere. Obviously, he's had a great year. Maybe the scoring wouldn't be as high, but I think the points would be around the same. I think Kakko could score 20, 25 goals in this league.
Yeah, I mean, this season he's got 13?
That's pretty good. And he missed some.
Does he go on a tear? Does he go on a tear and hit a career high 6 over the next 6 games?
He has 19.
Like a hat trick. He needs 19 to surpass last year's total.
He had 18
career high. He had 18. Yeah.
I thought he had 19 last year.
He had. I think he was 18.
18. Okay.
He had 40 points. He had 22 assists.
That was a good season. I feel like what happened? I mean, obviously he got.
He got hurt. I mean, he missed.
That that's definitely.
What, it's 80. What if he plays the next 6 games? That'll be 82 minus 61. He's missed 21 games, so that'll do it to you.
Yeah, he's still 13 goals. Is like. I'm telling you,
I mean, if he played all 82 games, how would he? He'd have over 20 probably.
The time that he missed, especially the time when he was struggling, I think confidence-wise a little. Yeah. And then he came back, and then obviously he had to kind of get like up to speed with everything. And he probably still has some sort of limitations. He probably still wearing like a knee brace or something. I could imagine. But I mean, 13 goals for him, like 13 goals. Like if he played the whole season and stayed confident. Even on the third line, I could see him scoring 20 goals, which I know we kind of been all Lafreniere this season, but I still have belief in Kakko. I don't want to, I don't want to get too much into like the Kakko talks, but I think he's going to be pretty big in the playoffs. I can see him coming up with some big plays, some big goals, and just as far as him and Lafreniere, I think it's been for the most part. I mean, obviously numbers aren't great for Kakko, but I think they're kind of. Especially him, he's slowly progressing, and I think obviously Lafreniere's playing really well, and we can kind of like get into that. Obviously on Saturday, career high in points, 5 points, hat trick, and like 2 goals were really nice goals too. Like he comes in, looks off the pass, and rips one top shelf. And the other one, he went forehand, backhand off the post and in. And obviously the empty net is that, but I mean, he was very good in that game, and obviously he was rewarded with 5 points. Just
monster.
what like we kind of talked about a little there, but like just in the general sense, like what are your thoughts on Lafreniere's season?
He's been great. He's been great. He's arrived. I mean, I think that's the best way to put it. And the crazy thing is he's still been snake bitten. Like this is a guy that could easily have 10 more points than what he has. You stretch this across next year too. Easily a point per game player.
Maybe it's on the power play next year. I don't know
Yeah,
because like they
it's
kind of have that.
possible.
They have the set five who are all pretty good at what they do, but I mean maybe he gets a little more power play time. Maybe there's an injury to someone.
Yeah. Yeah, if he was on that first power play,
He would
he'd
have like
easily have
70
30
points.
goals right now.
I
Yeah.
think he'd be a point a game player. I think he
Yeah.
could be over a point a game player. I think he'd have like 75 points, 76
Yeah.
points right now.
Well, I mean, if we think about it, like I said, it's not crazy to think right now. If some of those chances that he had were buried, let's say, he could be
Even without the power play.
With the power play, he's easily possibly with the power play this season.
Are we
Plus,
gonna get
some of those
crazy?
chances to go through, you're probably looking at like 75
Are
points.
we gonna get crazy? Maybe he could have scored 90 this year if he got lucky and was playing power play.
I could definitely, 90 might be maybe a stretch, but 80 is definitely in play.
He could have been around what Trocheck is, like 82 points. He's a point per game player though, which is we kind of know that now. That if you put him at least with a good player, he's going to produce.
Yeah, he's been great. He's taken the big step that we needed him to take. I like some of those moves as well. He's clutch too. He's got the clutch gene. A
couple big goals he scored, and then obviously he's made some good plays at the end of the games too. I know he kind of helped set up that goal. I know this is going back, but he made a nice diving play against the Islanders to like pass the puck back to the point. So he's been clutch. So yeah.
Oh yeah, he's been good. I think that too, just the Kakko thing is some of the pressure early in the season was he was struggling. You see Lafreniere playing well, and it was like for Kakko, it was like, all right, is his time here days numbered? When you see another young guy produce,
he's in trade discussions a lot too.
Yeah, exactly. He's turning into like the Rangers version of Gleyber Torres. Like every single year, he's going to be in trade discussions now. But yeah, Lafreniere's been great. He's been great. It's good to see, like we said. You always got to be happy whenever one of the young kids scores. Although they're not really kids anymore.
You know what, like the saddest thing is though. You know, like the saddest thing is, personally, I think Keto is the best out of the three. And imagine the season he would have had playing with Panarin.
Imagine this team with Hedl.
Oh my God, Trocheck is our third line.
I mean, nothing against Wennberg, but
that team we would be so fucking deep, and especially if we know he can do it in the playoffs because he was so goddamn good in 2022. Yeah. He was so good. It just
kid line.
It sucks because I think he would have had a monster season. He would have scored 30. That next year, I'm calling this right now. If he stays healthy for the whole season, he's scoring 30.
We're gonna have that in the back of our mind. Like if this team falls short, you're gonna wonder if Hedl was here, where they would go.
I'm a big.
I don't think there's any chance he comes back, right?
No, but it just sucks because I'm such a big Hedl guy. He's got the speed.
Yeah,
he can shoot. He's good 5-on-5. He controls the play. He drives the play. It sucks that he got hurt.
Yeah. No, yeah, and especially too, like the fact that he was coming back, just from his perspective, and then got hurt again. He went back home, put in the work, wanted to come back, wanted to be there for the team, came back, got hurt again. It just stinks too for him, not only just the team, but yeah, I mean, I guess that could transition into our next point is like, who's the biggest playoff X factor? Is it Wennberg replacing him or Roslovic? I know you tweeted that out earlier today on the Talkin Rangers Twitter page, which you haven't followed already. Definitely follow that. Who do you think? I guess we can go you first and I'll go. Bigger X factor.
I mean, like, I want to say, I think it's going to be Wennberg just because of the fact that who knows how that line's really going to play. I mean, they've been better, the first line. I think Roslovic's been fine. He was good off the bat, and then he's kind of like, I feel like that line's kind of tailed off last couple of games. Like I feel like Zibanejad and Kreider really haven't been great again, which obviously that sucks. But
well, I think doesn't Mikko only have like one goal in his last 5 or something?
Yeah, and you just gotta hope he turns it on in the playoffs. But as far as Wennberg though, I've been very impressed with him. He's not a flashy player. He's not gonna score a lot of goals. But he's an unbelievable defensive player, especially in the neutral zone. If you watch his stick and his positioning in the neutral zone, his ability to slow down and stop rushes through the neutral zone is very impressive, and I think that's huge. And they need to use that line. I think that's a really good shutdown line. Wennberg, Cooley, or VC and Kakko, whoever they want to play. I think I'd probably go with Cooley, but they can also go VC too. That third line, some skill, can forecheck, and can shut the other team's best line down. The only the only like bad part about his game, I would think he's not great on faceoffs, which again is not the best, but I think that's not a huge problem for me, especially because of how the Rangers usually do their defensive zone faceoffs where they throw out two centers. So he doesn't really have to be in that position where you need to win a faceoff, at least in the defensive zone. But just to play in general, I think he's a grindy guy. He can forecheck. Like I said, he's unbelievable in the neutral zone defending. He's got a great stick. I think he could make a couple, not like big time plays where he like scores a goal or something, but like when he like stops like a big chance by the other team. But if you're like looking for like who can maybe like get that bigger goal, I'd lean towards Roslovic, but just like overall impact, I'd probably say Wennberg. So.
Yeah, the third line centers was obviously a big deadline thing. He's got the stick is nice. I'll just say that the stick,
just
the white
his
stick.
action, the actual it is. Yeah. It's kind of it's like Marty St. Louis vibes, whereas like nobody really has a white stick, nobody really had a yellow stick. So
yeah. I guess I'll go opposite just because it was a good explanation there on Wennberg. I guess I would go Roslovic just because of the fact that, in my eyes, if this first line doesn't produce, this team's not going anywhere. So to me, it still comes down to Roslovic being that force that can play with Mika, play with Kreider, get them going. Like you said, it feels like in the beginning there, I don't know if it was just like the vibes. He was on the team, right? Like there was just good energy that they were playing well. Now it's kind of like back to where we were prior to March. It's also Mika March. It's over now. So maybe that has something to do with it.
That's true.
And, of course, Kreider did score last night, but it was on the power play. So it doesn't, I think it was on the power play, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't even matter. So, yeah, like I just think to me, like we talk about the core all the time with this team, Kreider, Mika. It comes down to those two guys, Panarin, Igor, of course. If Roslovic isn't doing his job, if Roslovic isn't able to build chemistry, have that connection with those two guys on the first line, this team's not going anywhere. I think you can survive with Wennberg. Wennberg's like I think Wennberg. Maybe I just trust Wennberg more. I don't know how to word it, but like the biggest X factor, who we're gonna feel more if they play well, it's gonna be Roslovic because it's gonna be unlocking that first line. If Roslovic's not playing well, if that first line isn't playing well, forget the Stanley Cup. Forget maybe even getting to the second round. This team might not even get past round one if Kreider and Mika don't play well. And it's up to Roslovic to try and lock them. So that's the way I view it.
I think
I also have more trust too in the bottom six, so I'm not too concerned about Wennberg needing to play great or whatever because I trust that.
I kind of agree a little there, where it's like not saying it's easier, but I mean I think kind of like playing good defensively, it's more in your control. I think where you can kind of control it, and it's a little bit easier than to like go and score. Again, obviously that's way harder to get those big timely goals and just consistently go out there and just play well defensively. But in the playoffs, I guess I kind of agree to some degree where the Roslovic could be more impactful because if you can get a goal or help set up as a Zibanejad or Kreider, obviously that the goal is going to be more important. But yeah, no, that's what it is. We've talked about it a bunch, and I personally think that Zibanejad is probably more essential to this team because we always say we know what Kreider is. He's a power play merchant. He's going to play well in the power play. You're going to get that, no doubt about it. But Zibanejad's that guy and the even strength guy that you need to come and play good 5-on-5. And obviously last playoffs he wasn't good, so that's why they lost. Yeah. I mean, it ultimately comes down, of course, like you just said, you're spot on. The 5-on-5, not heavily reliant on the power play. If this team wants to go places, the first line, Mika, they're all going to have to be productive 5-on-5. And, it's that first line. So, yeah, like what is your, if you had to guess, I've seen this kind of around, just thinking about the team right now. If you had to take one former Ranger and implement it, because a lot of people have done this with other teams. If you had to take one former Ranger and put on this team, who would it be? Well, like did they have to be when they were on the Rangers, or just like any time in their career?
Well, I mean, what you're gonna go like Gretzky?
Yeah, no, I can't say
No,
Gretzky.
like
I'll say
somebody that was like really good on the Rangers, like
yeah.
Messier, Leach, somebody like that.
I mean, yeah, Mark Messier, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Leach maybe was a little bit better, but I think this team probably needs a guy that can kind of drive the play and more of he's a grindy guy with a lot of skill, good leader.
Yeah, it's also a guy
Yeah.
can get it done in the playoffs.
Yeah, clutch. Yeah, probably Messier. And that's like
Yeah.
not saying anything bad about other people. Like obviously, I take Leach in a heartbeat, but I think this team needs more of what Messier brings because they already kind of have a Leach and Fox.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I'd probably go Messier. The playoff stuff is big there. I mean, the guarantee you could use this on this team because you wonder how much this core is going to produce in the playoffs, like the Mika, the Panarins, not so much Kreider. You know, Messi is going to produce and probably guarantee a win or two. So that helps.
I'll take that. Yeah.
What do you say?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
If you can guarantee a win, we win. 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. You know what's funny is like you don't hear anything from Devils fans about that. Nothing. Like they talk about.
No, I mean,
there's smack talking around. Yeah, but it's like they always talk about.
It doesn't matter.
Going down the Devils road right now.
I always say this to anybody who says anything about that or something like that, just in general, not just Devils fans. It doesn't mean shit if you don't win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and that's
if we lost last year, if we beat the Devils last year and we lost, like
I could not.
Who gives a shit? I know there's obviously you're saying earlier there's gonna be fans like, oh, we beat you.
Yeah.
But I'm not on that. I'm not in that group. I think that's a horrible thing. Who gives a shit?
If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The only thing you can say, I feel like, is to a team. I mean, if you beat a team along the way, I guess you can talk shit. But like, I mean, the biggest thing would be, I guess, in the conference final. If you beat them in the conference final and win, or you beat them in the final and win. But I don't know how many fan bases, just like our personal lives, like. I don't know any freaking Golden Knights fans, so like, you know what I mean? Like whoever would be in the finals, you're not going to really see any of those fans. But
no, yeah,
my overall thing is that if you don't win, it doesn't matter.
No, yeah, it's the truth. And there's so many Devils fans too that are out there right now saying, like when Igor's comments last year, remember he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter because they didn't win." That's going to be the same thing this year. If we don't win, like I'm saying is. If we would have beat the Devils and we would have got bounced in the second round to the Hurricanes, like the roles were reversed. Wouldn't have mattered because we got bounced in the second round for that team with Patrick Kane and Tarasenko. Anything less than a Stanley Cup was a failure. And they got bounced in the first round, which was the ultimate failure. It got the coach fired.
Yeah, especially going up 2-0.
So, yeah.
Can't go up 2-0 this year.
And that's the same thing this year.
Can't go up 2-0.
Nah, you either got to fall down 2-0 or
this team doesn't know how to play with leads.
Quit.
They don't know how to play with leads.
I should have known that. I got so hyped up after that 2-0 lead 2 times. Well, Tampa, I'll admit, I was still skeptical because Tampa had all those days off. I was expecting them to be rusty. The Devils, I was so cocky. I don't know why.
I don't know. I wasn't super cocky or like I was like.
It didn't surprise me.
I was convinced that they were gonna win, but no, the Lightning series, I agree. I was like a little hesitant because
I mean, their team, they just won the cup.
Plus, we won the home games. So it's like, okay, we got to go back to Tampa.
Going back to Tampa, a team that's been there and done that. It was still a young team on the road in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Even though that arena was like 70%.
Yeah. Dude, imagine like the Rangers fans take over like Vegas for the Cup final or something.
They would.
They take the Coyotes game. When the Coyotes scored, the arena got quiet.
I think the only stadium that we would have trouble is Montreal, Boston,
because they're in
and Boston, Toronto. Yeah. Those are the only teams where I think that they would have trouble kind of really getting in. Anywhere in the South.
Yeah. What about like Seattle? Not that they're eliminated, but
I mean, yeah, you know, if
it
was Stanley Cup Finals, yes, we would definitely be there. But I mean, yeah, that's a long trip.
Yeah. Don't know how
there's also not a lot of Seattle fans though. So.
I mean, Florida too is going to be loaded if we play the Panthers.
Yeah, like I said, Florida, Tampa, and Carolina are all like MSG 2.0. So many New Yorkers live in like Florida and California, Carolina.
Yeah, it's I mean, there's going to be Carolina as well if we face them.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be loaded.
I just kind of like I have no idea who we're gonna play. This is like it was funny though.
I have a bad feeling it's gonna be the Lightning, and I don't want that, but
Yeah,
I guess you gotta trust. You gotta trust the squad. I guess you gotta believe in your team. I don't. I am so scared of the Lightning. I'll be honest.
The thing is, I guess the only thing we can really root for is just us keep winning and get the President's Trophy, because then you start to get into weird territories where it's like we can win the division, but if we don't come in first, then we got to play the Lightning. So it's like, okay, do we want to not win the division then? So then we can play the Flyers or the Capitals.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know who we're gonna play, but whoever we play, I imagine we should beat them. But the Lightning.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm scared of the Lightning.
Yeah, I am scared of Lightning. Yeah, and this team's supposed to win a cup. If you win 50 plus games that have well over 100 points, I mean the goal, you have to win the first round. I don't care if you're playing the Lightning. Like if they lose to the Lightning, even if I'm not,
they have to get to the conference final.
No, yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like even if they play the Lightning first round and that's a tough team, there's no excuses there. You gotta win. You gotta get
the better team. Yep.
I still think at some point this team is like I still think at some point this team's gotta it's got to be cup or bust. Like even if you get to the conference finals.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying
left are you gonna have with this core?
I'm saying that I'd still be disappointed, obviously, if you lose in the conference final. But I think this team should get to the finals. I don't know about win, but they should be in the finals this
year. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If they don't face Tampa first round, you feel good about this team having a pretty clear path to the EC.
Yeah, I mean, because like you should be able to sweep the Capitals and maybe lose one or two games against like the Red Wings or whoever you end up playing, or the Flyers. Maybe
probably
lose one or two.
At most, it's a 5-game series in my
eyes. Those series should be quick.
Steal a game at home.
Those series should be quick.
Yeah,
they should be Jonathan Quick.
Yep, that's good.
That was bad. That was bad.
That was solid.
They should be Jesper Fast.
Oh
no,
Julien Gauthier. I don't know why I said his name.
That made no sense.
All right. Should we do goal scorers?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go goal scorers. Tomorrow, Detroit.
You can go first because I got a 1 point lead now. It's 3 for 3.
Yeah, I have to make a comeback here. 6 games. I'm down 2-0 right now, technically.
No, you're down by 1.
Well, I'm down 1, but
you're up.
Playoff standpoint, I'm like 6 games left. I have to.
You're up 1, and then I went 3-0 this weekend.
Well, yeah. If this is a 7-game series, technically, you're up 1-0. So I have to come back here.
All right.
Detroit. Can I say Patrick Kane?
No.
We'll go Panarin. That's always a safe pick. Panarin.
All right.
Got to get back on track. Got to stop taking Chad Ruhwedel.
I'm gonna ride the hot hand. I'll go Alexis Lafreniere.
It's a good one. All right, Montreal. I'm gonna go Kakko.
Kakko against Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Mika cooks against Montreal. We'll go Mika.
See, I'm saving Mika. All right, Islanders. Do we get a is this like a Will Cooley goal here? Didn't he have a goal against the Islanders last game?
He did. Yeah.
I'll go Will Cooley.
All right. So the Islanders. Who should I do against the Islanders? We'll go. We're going Lafreniere again. I'm going to do Lafreniere again.
Better hope Lafreniere has a good week.
Yeah, I know. I do.
You're putting all your chips in the Lafreniere basket.
All right, so I did Lafreniere, or Lafreniere's Vanjad, Lafreniere.
I will go.
And you did Panarin, who and Cooley?
I went Panarin, Kakko.
Oh, Kakko.
Panarin, Kakko, Cooley.
Okay. And then is there one more game, or we could probably have another?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's Thursday. I guess just in case. If not, we'll pick again. So these are just in case. If we have an episode up by then we'll do new picks. Philly, Mika.
Philly, all right. Mika Magic against Philly. We'll go
Golden Kreider game though. I could see like a power play tip in.
Do I dare to go Lafreniere again? No, I can't do that. He's not gonna score again.
You're really buying in on the Lafreniere 30-goal train here. 4 goals over the next 6 games.
We'll go. We'll go Fox.
Fox?
Yeah. So you
said Fox. Jesper Fox.
Jesper Fox. Yep.
All right. So those are goal scores. Dude, the last game, we have to pick. Both of us have to pick like Barclay Goodrow. He scored. Who's gonna game 1? We've come to the conclusion that Matt Rempe is scoring.
Matt Rempe would blow the roof off the like like we were talking this before. Like the Rempe chance would not meet. Dude, maybe they would never stop.
They may never stop.
If he scored 2 goals, they would. If he scored a hat trick game 1, which that would be insane because he probably is only going to play, especially in a playoff game. He'll play like 8-9 minutes. That's it. But if he scored a hat trick in game 1, you think like his number, which they would stop at the end of the game, and just his number would be in the rafters.
If Matt Rempe scored 3 goals in 8 minutes,
if Matt Rempe scores 1 goal in the playoffs, I think they like put his number in the rafters.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, he's already about to get his number in the rafters.
Would a Matt Rempe overtime goal feed families?
Yeah.
Would it solve world hunger?
It'd solve hunger, yeah.
That would be the greatest. That'd be such a like not even obviously, I'd be happy they won a game in overtime. That's like sick, but like just to experience that would just fascinate me to see what the crowd would react to a Matt Rempe overtime goal.
Yeah. It would be crazy. It'd be crazy. No doubt.
And if he wasn't in the lineup, like in the later game in the playoffs, they would boo probably.
Probably, yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah. Imagine if they went to. That's crazy. Anyway, any closing thoughts on this Matt Rempe Thursday?
No, I mean just hopefully they can get by these 6 games untouched, healthy. Obviously try to win, I guess, all of them. We're kind of talking about getting that President's Trophy to get that easiest matchup in the first round. Obviously, no matchup's easy in the playoffs, but I mean, I think you're lying to yourself if you don't think that there's like playing the Capitals or the Red Wings, the Flyers is way easier than the Lightning. Not saying that you couldn't lose to those teams, you could, but I mean, obviously, you want to play the team with the best chance that you can win, especially the first round. We're kind of talking about how it's like could be momentum where you can go in and win that round pretty handily, and then kind of use that to go into the next round instead of having that gauntlet of like 7-game series, having to then play again, or even losing. But I mean, just like I said, 6 games. I mean, obviously, hope that I guess I'm rooting for the wins to get the best matchup, but then also we're kind of mentioning that maybe Lafreniere get to 60, 30 goals would be sick, or like even Panarin somehow getting a breaking point record, which is probably not possible, but could be cool to see.
Yeah, the personal stuff's cool this time of year. And of course, still trying to rack up some of those wins so we don't have to get a nice early, easy first round matchup and then kind of cruise into the second round and then you make a run. So that'll do it for episode 27. As always, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.